Hi, I'm Heidi Hansen, and I'm going to read a story that I wrote and is included in the anthology Prevail. The name of the story is In the Zone. I took on adult responsibility when I was 11 in order to stay up late. In the 1960s, The Twilight Zone aired Friday nights at 9. I'd jump into my father's recliner as he climbed the steps to bed. Don't forget, he'd say, take out the dog, turn off the lights, and be quiet. Everyone else retired early. I was the last one up. I'd adjust the volume as Rod Serling took center stage, and I sat at rapt attention, often pulling a pillow over my face to hide the scarier moments. When the show reached its conclusion and Rod signed off, the heebie jeebies magnified for me. First, I had to wrangle a sleeping terrier and shoo her outside to the porch. Then I'd turn off the lights. All of the lights. We lived in a 100-year-old farmhouse full of odd-shaped rooms and mysterious sounds. There were no two-way light switches. I ascended the creaking staircase in the dark. Several treads squealed when you stepped on them. I'd climbed those steps so many times, I knew how to keep to the outside to avoid the creaks and groans, more to calm my nerves than worry about waking the rest of the family. At the top of the staircase, I turned right, negotiated the dorm room where three of my sisters slept, hoping no toys lay in my path. Then into the bedroom I shared with my sister. Quietly, I disrobed, slipped into my pajamas and bed. It seemed that hours passed before sleep. Remnants of the show tricked me into imagining sounds and the shadows that played on the walls. The pine tree, taller than the house, swept its branches against the windows, making me jump. A few years ago, my friend Tobias told me he met someone who claimed to have several scripts written by Rod Serling for The Twilight Zone. I invited myself along for a look-see. I hoped it was true, that I might be able to purchase one. Tobias and I arrived amid a throng of fans. The odds that we would even make it into the house were disappearing as more and more cars arrived. But the purveyor recognized Tobias and waved us through the garden gate around to the back of the house. Many collectors were bidding for this episode or that, but he handed a manila envelope to Tobias. For you, he said. It never made it to the screen. Tobias reached for his wallet but was told, no, this is yours. He smiled at me, then dismissed himself. We headed back to Tobias's car where we opened the envelope and pulled out a sheaf of papers. He held the pages between us and we scanned them hungrily. I would nod when I was ready for the next page. We were taken with the story until it ended. More accurately, there were no more pages. The story was left up in the air. No resolution, no irony, no moral. The story was a Serling specialty, about a world civilization that suddenly came to a screaming standstill. It was reminiscent of our questions about what happened to the people of Easter Island or the Incas. The characters in the story included a round table of world-famous scientists who were faced with a global pandemic. As they grappled with a way to save the people, another problem presented itself, then another, until it took on the proportions of the Book of Revelations. After the toilet paper scare, the forests of the world were ignited by lightning storms. Then came the hurricanes, the typhoons, the tornadoes, and the killer hornets. Then the skies opened and torrential rains fell, causing flooding. Yet the pandemic still plagued them. Governments blamed one another, then tried to cooperate against a common enemy. But there, the story stopped. What did Rod Serling know about 2020? Well, my time's up. So I guess you'll have to read the story to find out. And thanks for listening.